Yeah. Well. Yeah. Hi, it's Big Joe Joyce. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just thinking. I wanted to say follow the Triple B. He's he knows. He talks. Good about boxing. He knows a lot about boxing and things like that. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Subscribe and like. Subscribe and like the Triple B. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing. Yeah, so because of this big fat, disgusting porcine pig, who pretends to be heavyweight, who lasts about a second against the juggernaut. Yeah, so Triple B can't be paid. So if you want to do some cash up, it's pound sign Bango G14 because the channel's been demonetized. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cheers for that. Yeah, yeah. I thought that was quite funny, but I thought it might be a bit cringe, but whatever, man. I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in. Joe. Joe doesn't. He kind of goes off on tangents. He doesn't finish sentences. He's always like he's not that charismatic in a sense, but in a sense also he is because of the way he lives his life and he says the occasional funny thing. Him and Zhilei Zhang both kind of quite funny. They're a good duo, good duo. But yeah, yeah, talking of Big Joe Joyce, yeah. So the juggernaut. I reckon there's a chance that Big Joe's seen the channel blood. And certainly the videos on him, right? A lot of people come there and say, I think such and such has seen your videos because they make a remark. They might, they might not subscribe, but they might watch a couple of the videos about them. But because yeah, listen to this. So, listen to this, man. Listen to Joe Joyce in the press conference.
Why are you always walking towards the side, Joe? Because that's I don't know. That's because I'm the juggernaut. Because I'm the juggernaut. The juggernaut. The juggernaut.
Yeah, maybe I'm just tripping, but why? Why do that? Because I'm the juggernaut. I mean, I don't know, maybe he's done that before, but that's exactly how Triple B says it. The juggernaut, the jugger Chad. I bet you my boy Joe Joyce has seen the Triple B video. And if you have, yo, Joe, what up if you're listening? Yeah. Well, the other thing is Joe Joyce, like, he ain't like Gay J and people like that, they're like Fury. He's not interested in going out and wearing flashy clothes and going to nice restaurants and being seen on the town with AKA skins and Ben behind me, honey. The man likes gaming. He's got a game station with 3 massive screens. He spends a lot of time on the internet. He's a bit of an autist, which is one of the reasons I really like him. He's just so different, bro. But yeah, so you can imagine him listening, watching quite a lot of YouTube videos. He's not an egotist, but everyone watches videos on themselves. It's interesting, right? Anyway, so yeah, big up Joe, and big up Zhilei, the Big Bang. If you're here watching Big Bang, I'm a fan of both of y'all. Hopefully, you can become fans of the Triple B, like Ricky Hatton. Anyway, yeah. So the press conference, yeah, they had a press conference from yesterday, and it was kind of amusing. A couple of bits like this guy, this BT guy. I don't really get where he came from, man. Dev, Coronation Chicken Sarnie, Sarnie sandwich. He I mean, like, to be honest, all these jobs, including commentating, interviewing, inboxing, asking a few questions in the press conference, they're piss easy, man. Any idiot could do it. Having said that, right, what I mean, they're piss easy if you've got a bit of confidence, right? If you're shy, if the nerves get to you, then it's not easy. But even Carl Froch, the nervous guy, has managed to give good commentaries, make some funny remarks about 80,000 blah, blah. Yeah, it's boring, but it was funny about 20 years ago. And, as long as you can, you're not one of those real shy people. And I was as a youth, but I could do this with that stand on me head, yeah. But it's not a difficult job. Like being an actor. People think, oh, it's such a great. It's not, man. You get to see amateur dramatics. The local club are as good as them, right? And people don't think, oh, he doesn't want to talk about Robert De Niro. It's so good. Robert De Niro just says everything twice. Okay, just the same way. Yeah. And De Niro, like, what I'm like, I mean, yeah, they're okay, but they're not spectacular, you know. They're not. They just got there because, well, they bent over, huh? Metaphorically and physically, probably. And also, you know, they obey what their masters tell them, and they got lucky, and a bunch of other things, you know. I had a girl, right? I was with this girl right back in the day, a model, you know, at the top agency, and she knew a lot of the gossip, right? And she like saying, she, you know, these guys like these big actors, Tom Cruise, all of them. Yeah, she had a friend who was going out with one a Hollywood actor, and they were saying, you know, these guys have all got acting coaches that, you know, they come on the set, and I said, right, Tom, this is what you gotta say, right? Don't just go, show me the money. You go, show me the money, whatever. You know, they get an acting coach that tells them exactly how to say their lines. I mean, that's a tangent. Back to the boxing. There's a boxing channel, y'all. And we're talking about the Big Bang, Zhilei, Zhang, and the Jugger Chat, Joyce. So, yeah, but Coronation Chick and Sani, I don't know if that's funny, but that's his name for now. And, you know, there was this part in the press conference. Yeah, look, check it out. Yeah, of course. You know, Corey talk. Anyway, check it out.
So the translation of drug nut in Chinese is red tank. That's what we would call it. You have a tough chin, great stamina, but I'm the big bang right here. I'm banging everything. But I'm the big bang right here. I'm banging everything.
I thought that was quite funny, man. Yeah, he's like, hold on, it's funny how everyone can pretend to be Chinese, you know. Hold on, he's not saying nothing. Who knows, he might be, but yeah, you know, and then the translator is like, yeah. And you know, Gillette, Big Bang is right here, and I bang everything. Like, you know, I mean, I bet the translator knew, right? Because he speaks good English, but you know, obviously banging means smashing, you know, in a sexual manner. Always about Corey talk, isn't it? In the heavyweight division, just Corey's banging Corey's, and but yeah, that was typical. And little Dev Sani, yeah, sits there like a child, man, like a little 13-year-old, like laughing, giggling. Actually, do you know, I warmed him, to be honest, even though he doesn't deserve the job, and any idiot could do it, you know. And he's lucky to have got where he is. Imagine being like a boxing fan, and being a basic nobody, but he just happens to fit the bill where you know someone or whatever reason it is. You know, you blow someone if you're a female. Obviously, you just blow someone in charge. You get me? Well, every time you watch any of them hags on Sky Sports or DAZN, you know they've blown the correct person. Laura Woods, man. You know, I don't know who she had to blow for DAZN. Len Blavatsky. I don't know. Probably just Eddie Hearns. But you know, there's no doubt. And yeah, so Dev, I don't think Dev blew anyone, but I don't know. He's a top boy at BT. I don't know, BT Boxing would be Frank Warren. I don't think he's into Bati business. So I imagine, I don't know why Dev, he must have a family friend or something. But yeah, he was giggling like a schoolboy, but I quite warmed to it as well.
Tell me this, Zhilei. I know you bang everything, but you've been trying to bang Joyce.
Yeah, my only slight concern. I'm not the only one who's mentioned this, by the way. I've seen people have written comments on forums and things like that. That you know, everyone says, Joyce got no charisma, and you know, he just sort of stutters and waffles. He's always kind of done that a bit, yeah, talking a bit slow and things. But people mention he seems a bit more punch drunk than usual, you know. I mean, before I just think that's, I don't know, his shyness, or not even his shyness. He's just not a natural big talker, but and obviously he's an autist. But people are saying he seems a bit punch drunk now, like you know, I don't know, slightly slower, yeah. And quite, he'll start, I don't know, he's kind of always done this a bit, but he'll be talking about something, and then he won't finish his point. He don't get to the point. So he'll just carry on talking about something slightly different. He'll just, it's really disjointed the way he speaks, you know, which worries me, you know. I like the big Joe. He's 37, right? Okay, and he hasn't had a long pro career, 15 fights, right? This is his 16th, and he stopped most of the guys. But you know, you can say, oh, he only started boxing at 20, but you know, I mean, he had a lot of WSB fights, and a lot of high level amateur fights, right? Right now, if you look at box rate, box rate amateur ranking is often not you know. I mean, they're getting better, a lot better. They're adding a lot more fights, but the amateur fights are not perfect like the pro ones. But they still have Joe having 55 wins, 11 losses, so it's at 66 amateur fights, and they were all at a high level. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he got stopped twice, actually 3 times. Once by J. Right now, I don't know. There's no filming of this. People have said, "Oh, it was one of his amateur stoppages, 3 counts and stop." But still, that was very early in his career. They've actually got that down as his first fight, which I don't think it was. I think it was in the novices or something. I don't know. But he also got stopped by Sergei Kuzmin in the first, and this I didn't know. This I've only just found out just right now. He got stopped in the first round by a guy called Hamza Begwemi from Algeria. So I don't know what. That was a 3-round, I don't know, so it's not WSB, but yeah, so that's, I mean, slightly worrying. This guy Hamza Begwemi, yeah, they say he only had 10 fights in the amateurs. Like I said, incomplete, we usually box rate records, but he had 1 win against Big Joyce and 9 losses. So that's kind of, you know, it's slightly concerning. You know, people call about Joe Joyce's chin, and it is super. And there's no doubt he's got a great chin. But, like, you know, everyone's chin cracks eventually. And you know, he has been hurt before. He's been put over, right? But more than that, it's just, you know, sometimes the chin can suddenly go. He's 37, remember that. He's had a long career and much sparring. Who knows, all the sparring as well. So, you know, I'm a bit worried. Hopefully it isn't, I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. You know, and, yeah, I was just thinking, you know, like, you talk about, in my comments, I've had a lot of clowns, gay J slurpers, you know, like probably dinos, a bunch of dinos and NPCs who think gay J is great, or maybe they're just flat out paid shills, right? Oh, gay J wouldn't juice. It's genetics, innit? Nigerian genetics, innit? And I was like, okay. I mean, we got decided that Nigerian people are all big and strong. I mean, certainly a lot of the, you know, there's a lot of big Nigerian fellas. There's no doubt. Yeah, but I remember back in the day, there was about 3 Africans in my gym, and were Nigerians, and they were all really small. One was a flyweight, one was a bantamweight, one was a feather. You get me? You know, not these Nigerian giants, these Nigerian genetics we hear about. You know, these guys going, oh, Nigerian genetics are known for it. Anyway, so one of me funds wrote, he was laughing, going, this genetics thing is so funny. He goes, funny, you need to go and look at the average Nigerian height, right? So I did. Yeah. You know what the average Nigerian height is? 5'5". That's no giant, bro. That's a giant super heavyweight. Genetics, fam. It's a big country, so, you know, maybe there's different tribes, so maybe certain tribes are bigger. I get that. But the average, guess what? The average Chinese guy, I ain't never seen a Chinese guy over 6 foot, I don't think, in my life. I mean, obviously, but the average Chinese height is 5'8". 3 inches bigger than the average Nigerian, which is significant. Obviously, Zhilei is a bit of a freak, you know. I don't know, they might have been genetically modified to be huge or whatever, like Yao Ming. You know, Yao Ming, you know him, the NBA player, was the tallest NBA player at the time. 7'6", man. Yao Ming. But, yeah, you know, and the Chinese, you know, the Japanese, again, 5'7.5", so bigger, 2.5 bigger than Nigerians. Meikans, who are known to be quite small in Meiko, 5'6.5". So it's quite weird that if you actually look at the data, remember, data will set you free from all the prejudices and stuff that's forced into you and the nonsense and stereotype. If you look at the data, you know reality. You can fool yourself with data by only looking at certain bits. You've got to be honest with the way you look at data. Data will set you free, fam. Yeah. So what is Nigerian genetics? That's why KJ is so big, innit? You know, of course you don't do drugs. It's the famous Nigerian genetics, fam. Sick of that shit. Sick. The other thing, I forgot it was the WBO interim heavyweight title. Technically, this is a heavyweight title fight. You know, we know it's a joke title like Daniel Dubum's WBA regular belt. It's even more of a joke. And it's held by Dubum, who almost got he got knocked down 3 times with one punch, yeah, by a South African cruiserweight. He suddenly remembered he wasn't meant to win. You know, that's a clear dive, you know. I've been reading articles about fights that were made to be, you know, clear dives, and the one guy goes, damn, and I hit him and he went over. I was like, what the hell? It was, I can't believe he'd gone over. I was like, wow, what am I going to do now? Yeah, that was clearly an instance of that. So, you know, Dubum, you know, is pathetic. Obviously, Joyce dealt with him anyway already. But I will say this, so even though the title's a joke, you know, if you look at some of the heavyweight matchups over the years and some of the so-called championship titleists, you know, this Joyce fighting Zhang for the heavyweight title would be completely reasonable. I mean, look at one of the bums that held the title. Berman Stiver, and he's awful. You get me? I like the guy, but still Prince Charles Martin, you know, come on, blood. I don't know. You know, you get other guys like, I don't know, I was thinking off the top of my head, Sergei Liakovic. Now, he was a nice boxer, but he was chinny. You know, I mean, I would think Zhang and Joyce would beat all of them guys, no problem. Let alone Leon Spinks, who would last about a round, right? So you know, I mean, this is a perfect. I mean, if this was, you know, in a fractured division, if this was like a WBO title or something, you'd think, yeah, that's a complete reasonable fight. Obviously, at this point, we've got the top dogs being Tyson Fury and Usyk. You know, obviously, we recognise that, but forgetting the title, we got a big time heavyweight fight against lined up for us. Yeah, lined up for us. So let's check out the weigh-in. Just before we check out the weigh-in, I was watching it live, right? And I was like, hang on a minute, we haven't seen that awful women's fight. I can't remember. Michaela Maya, who looked like a horse. Yeah. She thinks she's like so great. She tries to get all ghetto, even though she looks like a sort of farm girl. She's an idiot, man. I can't stand them idiots. Ghetto. The worst ones are the ghetto wannabes, you know. But I think she's most likely what they call a mud shark. So it's the opposite of oil. It's kind of the female version of oil driller. But yeah, she was fighting Lynn Nardatu or whatever, who's Greek, but actually she's of Brazilian origin. I think she married some Greek oil drilling player. But anyway, the fight is off. Apparently, Lynn Nardatu, whatever her name is, had some eye issue. Right, some I don't know, maybe I think she had some lens inserted in her eye. She's had it all throughout her boxing career. The British board pulled it out. Now, let's think about that. So the British boxing board, run by Robert Smith, the well-known secret society member, has said, no, we won't let this women fight, right? Now, what happened a year ago? Yeah. You remember Alejandra Ayala? Yeah, Chubby is about the only guy who brought it up. It's the most avoided topic in boxing, right? You know, Boxing News did some gear article about how great she was doing, but I never followed it. It made me sick, Boxing News. And they even interviewed Robert Smith about Ayala. No, sorry, about how tough a year it had been. And basically, they just talked about Conor Benn. They didn't talk about poor Ayala. Yeah, the British Boxing Board of Control. Ayala had fought here before, and they found a brain anomaly. And they sent loads of emails and evidence to the Macon board to say, listen, man, you need to check this girl out. 2 years later, yeah, 2 years later, she's let straight back in the UK, not given any special tests. They haven't even checked if she's been tested since. And they threw her in against, was it Hannah Rankin, the oboist, the bassoonist or whatever, who used to be, you know, quite cute. And now she just looks like she's on the PD, she looks like a pig. And, you know, beat her up. And this woman, Ayala's never boxed in world class, or never won in world class. Yeah, she had a brain anomaly. And the British Boxing Board were happy to let her fight Rankin. And after she got a brain damage, nothing was investigated. Nothing happened. Head should have rolled, man. She was lucky to get out alive, that poor woman. Yeah, I've covered this anyway. And this is not the time to cover it. But, you know, the British Boxing Board and Boxing News make me sick, man. And the hypocrites. But yeah. Let's go on to the waiting for the main event of the evening. Let's check this out. So that was interesting win. That was an interesting win. Now Zhilei, that big bang Zhang, weighed at 278, which he has done, a few times around that weight, especially his recent fights. So I got no problem with that massive weight. It's almost 20 stone, right? 20 stone of big bang Chinaman. Wanting to rip your head off. But yeah, so the big bang weighed in at 280 pounds. So I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. And then Joyce gets on the scales. Sorry, Zhang was 278, almost 280 pounds. But then Joyce gets on the scales. He weighs 256 pounds. Now, that's still a big unit, right? And it still would be 36 more pounds than Usyk if he fights Usyk. But in his previous fight, he was 271. So he dropped a lot of weight since then. Before that, 265. He has not been that weight for... Let me have a look, man. Oh, he was 258 if he's Dubum. But, Bryant Jennings 256. But yeah, I mean, it's still very lightweight for him at this part of his career. And, he used to be a lot slimmer in the WSB and stuff like that. He's generally put on, 20, 30 kilos pounds since then. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He looks quite ripped. He's got that weird bicep where one bicep's a lot shorter than another. I pointed this out. No one else seems to have noticed it. But it looks quite weird. I don't know. It must have had a detachment at some stage and been reattached. But obviously it makes no difference because he's banging people out. He's never complained about it. And he looked lean. Yeah. Also, Zhilei Zhang. For him, he looked lean, if that makes sense. Yeah, and in good shape. His muscles look toned. He's not going to have a Schwarzenegger type body, right? But at that weight, he definitely looks better. He looks better than he has done weighing that weight before, even against Ergovic. He didn't have any showing of a double chin, whereas he always used to have a bit of a double chin. He had a bit more flabbiness on his body, whereas his shoulders look solid, his arms look solid here. So they both come for real. They both come to give it their all. They know what a big fight this is, because whoever wins this is a player, man. He needs to go on to a big title shot, right? And you think you don't read. People like to read a lot into the weights, and I understand to some extent. So why is a Big Joe dropped? What did he drop, like 15, 16 pounds here, right? Well, since his last fight, some would say maybe he's going for speed. I mean, you might say that's a joke. Joyce is very known to be slow, but to box him, actually, in a couple of his early fights, he boxed. He's actually got some good boxing ability. And he wants to keep his stamina. His stamina's always good anyway, but maybe he wants to be a bit lighter on the feet. Yeah, because the big bang is dangerous in the early rounds. Yeah, he's dangerous in the early rounds, the big bang, and then he tends to gas a bit. But conversely, Joyce takes about 3 rounds to warm up. He's been taking quite a few shots in the early rounds, like collars, tuck arm, and stuff like that, before he starts his power and accuracy. He's actually very accurate for a slow guy. He hasn't got speed, obviously, so it's just power and accuracy and toughness, relentlessness, come forwardness starts to take over. But so that must be his plan. I mean, that's what people think. That's his plan. Maybe to box a bit in the early rounds, to not get too involved with the big bang while the big bang is fresh. What will happen? Well, I haven't really changed my opinion. I think I previewed this 3 months ago when they announced it because I liked the fight. I've changed in the sense that I think Zhilei is actually more of a chance than I initially thought. I thought it would be a juggernaut late stoppage, predictably. And I think that may still happen, but let's get to that. But Zhilei's come in, and he's 40 now, he turned 40 a couple of days ago, but Joe's 37 himself, so he's no spring chicken. And they both got big heads too, and can take a shot, and can bang. And Zhang's banging everybody. Zhang's going to bang everybody. So, I'm interested about with Joe's weight. It sounds like he's not going to just stand there early on in the pocket. I hate that expression. It's so whack and not English at all. In the pocket, and he might try and give some movement and wait for Zhilei to, to bust his load early on, and then start walking him down. Some people said, betting wise, like I said, who knows? Joyce is 37. He has been hurt early on. He's had 3 first round stoppages, albeit in the amateurs. He hasn't shown any weakness in the pros, but at 37 and taking big shots, it can suddenly go. And if you start slow and gets caught, you don't know. You get 25-1 for the big bang in the first 6 rounds. For fun, that might be worth a fiver. There might be a small bit of value. I might do that, just £5. It's nice. £5 nothing, man. It's not even, it's not even a pint of lager. Although I'm not drinking at the moment, but if you're a premium lager drinker, that ain't even £5. Ain't even a premium lager. But and then the other thing that I thought was some value was Joyce on points, which is 4-1, I think. 4-1. Because, again, I might just stick a fiver on it. I don't really like hedging. You go for one result or another. Hedging is kind of lame. But when you're only dealing with £5, I'll deal with that, And just to give a bit of interest, because I do think that, Zhilei Zhang looks in good shape. I don't think he'll gas like he has done in previous fights as badly. And he's got that massive head, man. Huge heat on him. And he's obviously... You can obviously take a shot. So, that's I don't, as I said, for a little bet, if you want a little bet, you might do that for fun. I don't necessarily see him going. I think more likely is that Joe will stop Zhang in about round 10. I think Zhang will, probably from maybe exhaustion, you can see Zhang going over against the ropes. Having started to take a lot of shots in the latter rounds, and then sort of falling on the ropes a bit. His arm draped over the ropes because he's just exhausted, and he can barely stand up, and he's getting hit hard. So that would be, if I had to bet, if I had to preview the fight, I would say Joyce in 10 with an exhausted big bang, having had a good fight. And I hope it's a good fight. It should gel. It should gel. But so I'm looking forward to this anyway. Peace in the Middle East. Fuck the police and fuck that Illuminati beast.